This is Zachary Cook's lovely mother. That is why I am so handsome right there. Look at that. Okay, all right. So, Mom, Miss Cook,
Yes.
tell me about within the last year, who was the coolest stranger you met? Tell me how you met him, when, and what they said.
Okay. Well, it's not really the coolest stranger. It's just an interesting strangers. So I was coming back from Colorado on a red-eye flight and had to catch the flight about 12:30 a.m. So it was dark. And as I approached the gate, there were two kind of scary looking characters, and they had different accents, not Hispanic, your normal Hickory Hispanic accent, like SA tough accents from East LA type accent.
What'd they look like?
They looked like what you would picture as gangbangers. You know, all tatted up with the teardrops and the tats all over the face and neck and low-riding pants, and they looked just like they were probably young, but looked like they had already lived a lot of life. So I saw them standing near my gate, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get shanked when I get off the airplane in Charlotte, because I have to take a shuttle in the middle of the night to the car, and they're gonna follow me and murder me. So I was just a little uncomfortable, and they called my zone to get on the airplane, and they stood up, and by the way, I had taken special precaution to spend $3 extra to get a seat all by myself in this row.
Because you're a very sociable person, aren't you, Mom?
You know, I wanted to just sleep. I was exhausted after this trip, so I saw a row that didn't have anybody, so I chose that row. Anyways, they get up there in front of me in this zone, and all they were carrying with them, they each had a paper bag. That was their carry-on. And they just sounded so tough, the way they were talking to each other in these accents.
Give us an impersonation, if you will.
I can't. You know, they were just
it's all
talking
right.
like they, you know, in gangland. And they were just tough. Anyways, they ended up right in front of me going down the little bridge to the airplane. And I see my row 7C, and I'm going to sit by the window. And they stop right by row 7 and start getting in there. And I had to say, excuse me, I'm at the window, I'm sorry. And I was like, no. Anyways, I sat down, and they immediately asked me what, you know, where I was from and if I had ever flown before. And I said, yes, I had flown before. And they said, well, when was the last time you flew? I said, well, just a week ago. And I said, have you guys flown before? They said, well, we just flew in from LA and to Denver, where they had a layover, and they were on their way to Charlotte. And I said, are you here on business? And they looked at each other and they said, yes.
You didn't say business like that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Because the knife that they would have snuck onto the plane would have been in your gut.
I didn't say business like that. They said they were driving trucks, that they were truck drivers. And that they were there on business. But it was the first time they had ever flown, and all they were carrying were paper bags. So I was like, okay, pretty normal, you know. They were very polite to me, and they had, they asked me if I was from Charlotte, and I said, you know, I'm from actually Colorado originally, and I live in Hickory, and they asked me if there were Mexicans in Hickory, and I said yes, and they said, well, do you know any of the Mexicans? You know, where are they from in Mexico? I said, oh, they're from Hidalgo, and you know, I said, well, where are you all from? And they said somewhere in LA, but one of them said he's originally from Juarez, and the other one's from Guadalajara. which those flags kind of went up because I was like, oh, okay, those are major like cartel areas, and I didn't say that, but they kept asking me questions, and I got a little nervous, so I started talking a lot, and so started asking them questions. And they were very hesitant to answer any of my questions, but one of them asked me, I asked them if they had watched the, I forgot what it was called now. The
Sicario.
No. I said, well.
Breaking Bad.
No. I asked them first, or I told them that the Mexicans in Hickory have a much different accent than they did. And I said, it's interesting because, we have, Hickory is where the Mexicans live in our area, and Lincolnton is Costa Ricans, and Morganton are the Guadalajaran, or not Guadalajaran, Guatemalans.
Oh, I didn't know all that.
Yeah, so I said the accents are so different from all the Hispanic. Anyways, I said, but one thing's for sure, you guys don't have to read any of the subtitles in the cartel series that we just watched. And they looked at me like I said, the Colombian cartel, Pablo Escobar and that whole story, we just finished that series. Wow. And they looked very nervous. And they said, no, we work long hours, we don't watch TV. And so,
but I bet you they knew who Pablo Escobar was.
I don't know if they did or not, because Pablo Escobar. So, anyways, I suspect they were linked to some kind of cartel and trafficking drugs or something. I don't know. But they did not shank me on the way to the car, and I ended up offering them some of Mimi's candy corn from Halloween and some snacks. And
you were so sweet to the cartels.
No, and then I said, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, they were gone. And
wow.
Yeah. And I ended up asking one of them if he liked his job and if he ever wanted to do something, if he could do it all over again, if he would be a truck driver. And he said, I didn't use quotes though, and he said that things didn't work like that in his world, that he has had no choice for what he does, and that he's never even thought about what he would do if he had a choice.
But he's never been able to make any of his
choice. He just has to survive. And so I thought that was interesting and telling, but I guess that would be the most interesting stranger.
Mom, thank you so much for your time. You look beautiful. That was a very natural take, actually. Thank you.
That was pretty boring.
Did you want to say anything to storytelling class? I could always.
Is this Miss B's class?
It is.
Hi, Miss B. Thank you for being so sweet to Zach, and we have a friend who's taking your class next semester.
All right. Thanks, Mom.